Batisi TV, Lawan Rashipi Daka Frank Yamaha, the Maxi Sports Scooter Arox 155.
Kapording ha Meghalaya kalipman kapor Congress ka kular Bandung do boarding ha nang kendang ni hasar
5 commitments na kaseng Congress na kabinta ka 5-star Meghalaya.
Vote for your 5-star Meghalaya. Vote for Congress.
The only homegrown national party, the National People's Party, the only national party in the entire northeastern India, the NPP. I am proud to be part and parcel of the NPP family, for it has guided me as a youth leader in so many angles as a politician. Coming to form the government in 2018, leading the MDA government as the largest party in the coalition, there were so many criticisms from so many angles that this government will not even last for 1 year. But having a dynamic leader like Honorable Chief Minister, our National President of the NPP, Conrad K. Sangma, hold the coalition strong till it ends its 5-year tenure. The party which has formed the government has taken so many important issues where other political parties have not taken since we have achieved our statehood since 1972. The long, contentious interstate boundary issue, this political party has taken up. Out of 12 areas of differences, 6 areas have been taken up in the phase 1, and the MOU have been signed between the 2 states and the government of India. This issue which no political party has taken up since our statehood. The people of the state, the people especially residing in the borders area, will surely give their support for the NPP this time. Recently in the news column also I've given my statement that all the constituencies that are in these border areas, the NPP will win all these constituencies. And coming to the youths especially, where media houses, misinterpretation of facts has taken place, where they have said that the NPP has done nothing for the youths. So many flagship programs have been taken up under the leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma. The Prime Program, the Aspire Meghalaya, the Music Grassroots Program, the Luxury Tourist Vehicle Programs, the Homestays Program. And under this government, it has created a record 4,097 kilometers of PMGSY road have been constructed in the rural areas of Meghalaya. With all these achievements, I am confident as the Secretary of the National People's Party that the people of Meghalaya will once again bestow trust and confidence on our party. Our party has fielded 57 candidates all over the state. Our party has the presence in all constituencies. We have selected strong candidates, and my appeal to all my friends, to all my viewers in the media, in the social media, come 27 February, please vote for the National People's Party and press the button on the symbol of the book, the National People's Party.
Well, I represent the United Democratic Party, which is an offspring of the Hill State movement, which dates back to the 6th of July 1960. It is the ever-growing and ongoing efforts of our leaders in the past and of the present that is trying to unify the state by unifying the regional political forces that has brought about the amalgamation of 3 regional parties in the year 1997 that led to the birth of United Democratic Party. The United Democratic Party believes in working towards sustainable development as opposed to the offering of freebies. It is guided by the 3 cornerstones in its endeavor to serve the state by providing a government that is clean and corruption-free, effective and result-oriented, fair and impartial towards all its citizens. We had the opportunity to lead a government way back in 1998, and we had the distinction of being awarded the best financially managed state by the then Government of India, and our then Finance Minister, Mr. Aubrey Scott Lingdor, was given the Best Finance Minister award in the country. This speaks volumes for the party and goes to show, and I believe that if one was to file an RTI over the past records of the government of Meghalaya, you will find that the state has been well managed financially during the regime led by the regional parties. That is why we strongly believe that fiscal health is the key enabling factor that will help Meghalaya take on a growth trajectory that is beneficial for its people. The party stands for unity of purpose and vision for all citizens, development with a mission for inclusive growth, peace, ensuring safety and security for all sections of society. The party believes in visionary and decisive leadership, good governance with political and administrative accountability, growth in all sectors. To bring about the desired changes which are the aspirations of the people, UDP is for a healthy Meghalaya. Therefore, healthcare is topmost priority to provide equitable and affordable healthcare, upgrade infrastructural development and improve efficiency of medical personnel across the state, reducing maternal and infant mortality by setting up prenatal and postnatal care centers, provision of mandatory immunization and vaccination via routine health camps, increase in health cover under MHIS, diagnostic centers at subdivisional and district headquarters, eradication of drug abuse. Apart from that, education, which is the prime requirement for a healthy state, we intend to facilitate the constitution of an education commission to streamline the sector with an objective to bring about quality education, security of services for teachers, uniformity of the different categories of educational institutions, ensure maximum enrollment to arrest the rate of dropouts, and working towards changes in line with the NEP. Over and above that, we have focused on agriculture, where our endeavor to introduce minimum support price will be there. We are also focusing on tourism, holistic economic growth, youth empowerment. And in order to be able to do this, fiscal health, urban governance, social security, rural development, employment, power, mining, influx and language are to be addressed at the earliest possible in order to realize the aspirations of the people. We feel we are better set to give the state its aspiration better than the parties that are present here in the state.
Thank you, Hills Hills Youth Collective, for arranging this debate today. I'll stick to only a few things about what the Congress is about and what the Congress wants to do. And I think the people ought to know, after everything is said and done, and after the dust has settled, since the election time has come, I leave it for the people to judge exactly whether the good things has happened or the bad things has happened over the past many years, and especially in the past 5 years. But a few things that really strike the Congress as such per se is the fact that the health care system has deteriorated to a very large extent. And I believe so that the healthcare is the most important and integral part of any family's life. And from the Congress perspective, we've had many debates on this. And believe it or not, we do believe that free healthcare for all citizens is a right that every human in this state has. And I think the Congress is committed to that. While you might say it's just a freebie, but it's an important freebie to give. And I think from a Congress perspective, that is very important. The other thing that also impacts 60% of our population in the state is the farmers. And till today, minimum support price is still the thing that we just talk about, and nobody has even dared to implement it. And I think it is a challenge for the Congress that if we do get a chance, that minimum support price will be one of the priorities that we take. The other thing that we talk about, especially the children and the education for the young children. I think it's mandatory that children get free education at least till class 12. And I think this is a very important thing, because without education, I don't think so our state and our country will be built. And with the fact that there's enough rise in cost of living and enough rise in the daily needs of our people, I think free education is something which is extremely important. Talk about a very sensitive issue, I think, which has been started by the Congress nearly a year back, when we started harping so much about unemployment. And I think even my friend here also was still there with the Congress, in fact on both sides. Unemployment is a big issue. Unemployment is an extremely big issue, and the problem is that the more educated you are, the more unemployed you are. And I think we need to tackle this issue in a very different way. The fact that we need to think out of the box and understand the different technologies that exist today is very critical for us to embrace it and to take our state forward. Till now, I have never seen. I've seen a lot of exhibitions and so on and so forth, but believe it or not, it has never trickled down to the grassroots level entrepreneurs. And I believe that grassroots level entrepreneurs need not come with fancy things like prime hubs where you have very expensive chairs to even sit on. But I think grassroots level entrepreneurs needs to be given a chance and needs to be shown the way as to how he can build their businesses. Other things that are also important from the perspective of the Congress is that with the cost of living rising, I think even LPGs also need to be relooked. The cost of LPG is increasing. People have again gone back to olden ways of cooking. So I think it is extremely important to care about the environment. It's just not about giving freebies, but to ensure that at least the penetration of LPG gas cylinders reach every nook and corner of the state. The other thing is, since the press is a very important and integral part of the fourth pillar of our democracy, believe it or not, the press people are not paid well enough, and the press people, especially after serving so much to improve the democratic setup of the state, I think even the press people also needs to be looked at. And most importantly, I think in terms of power, we as a state are deficit on power. And if you look at the future of where the country is moving, by 2035, 50% of the vehicles will have to be electrified. And by 2050, 100% of vehicles will be sold that will be electrified. We as a state will not be able to sustain that growth. We as a state, we're having big trouble with when that time comes. So I think we need to look at that from a perspective of how we need to strengthen our future, and we need to look 25 years ahead and ensure that electrification is something which is very, very critical. And even our education, even in today's world, if you go to polytechnics and so many other places, we still talk about mechanical engineering. We still talk about, the workshops are still, combustion engine is still the rule of the day. But this is going to change extremely fast. And with this change, I think the government needs to start looking in that direction as well. And we as a Congress is committed on those grounds.
Ever since Meghalaya TMC set foot in the state, we have tirelessly worked for the people of the state. Since the very beginning, our mission has been to bring an all-round progressive and holistic development in the state of Meghalaya. People's support for our party has grown since they've seen the vision that we have for the state. And in less than a year, our party has grown to have more than 1 lakh members, active members. And it shows that the party has connected with the people. To empower the women in our state, we have launched the Meghalaya Financial Inclusion for Women Empowerment Scheme. This scheme ensures or guarantees 1,000 rupees income support to all women in every household. More than 3.5 lakh people, more than 3.5 lakh households have registered for the V-Card, which shows that the people in our state believe in the vision that the TMC has for the state. And for the youth who form the majority of the population, we have launched the Meghalaya Youth Empowerment Card, which guarantees 3 lakh jobs in the next 5 years. Through the My Card, we also guarantee an allowance of 1,000 rupees per month to every youth, unemployed youth between the age of 21 to 40. And I am overwhelmed that more than 4 lakh youths across the state have registered for the My Card. In this journey of 1 year plus, we have always stood with the people of the state, and we have exposed this incumbent government for all the blatant disregard that they've done to the aspirations of the people. Recently, taking our mission to bring the welfare of Meghalaya forward, our AITC parliamentary leader, Mr. Derek O'Brien, brought up pertinent issues regarding had brought up pertinent issues in the parliament. And I believe no other political party in the country has taken such a strong stand when it comes to these issues, which are the aspirations of the people of the state. We as the party, we are geared towards upholding Meghalaya's culture and to celebrate our diverse traditions and to empower all the people of our state. Our manifesto clearly shows the vision that we have for the state of Meghalaya. We have a vision for every sector to transform and revamp the education and the healthcare sectors, to boost the economy of our state, to make sure that all the civic amenities are reached to all the people in the state, to protect the indigenous rights at all costs, and to make sure that no decision is made without the consensus of the people. That is why we as a party, we have made sure and we have vowed that all our energy will go towards ensuring that we will bring a government that will ensure peace, progress and prosperity in our beautiful state by uniting all the people of our beautiful state in glorious welfare.
Thank you. BPP is a party that is committed to clean politics, and another issue that we are committed is the protection of the interests of the indigenous people without undermining the rights of the other communities. We are a party that believes in substantive democracy, where the political leaders and the government should not engage with the people only during elections seeking votes, but we should engage with the people post-election. We believe that wisdom and knowledge does not necessarily reside only with the government, but with the people. And therefore, to make the democracy truly democratic, we have to ensure the people's participation even post-election. And we are committed to Article 38 and 39 of the Indian Constitution, based on the principle of equity and fairness in the society. And therefore, we are committed to ensure that the educational institutions of the government, as well as the health care facilities of the government, are reaped by the people. These institutions, these facilities should be made to deliver services, because it is the poor that depend on these welfare activities of the people, of the government. And we are committed to the issue of landlessness among the rural household, which this has been flagged long time back, but no political party has taken this issue, and we are committed to conduct a cadastral survey as well as to enact the land saving law. We also believe and we are committed to create jobs in the state through a number of ways, which in fact we go to their basics, like agro-based industries, proper and micromanaging the tourism sector, create conducive environment for private investment, but for this, we need a very strong rule of law, where nepotism, arbitrariness and lawlessness has to be arrested. And we also believe that in order to make the state progressive, in order to make the state accountable to the people, we have to ensure that the government performs to the optimum. And for this, we need fair recruitment in the government. And therefore, we are committed to ensure that the MPSC and all the recruitment bodies in the state are insulated from the political interference, and also even in the composition of these bodies needs to be reworked. And we believe that we have also seen, and this is the ISO for the people of the state, especially for the youth, that nepotism is very powerful in our state, and we want to ensure that a personal interview for Group C and Group D recruitment is done away with. And to make our economy strong, we need to stress on those sectors that we can export to the other parts of the country and even to outside the country, because unless and until our economy is strong and vibrant, we cannot create jobs and we cannot give security to the people. And therefore, we need to strengthen those sectors. And we need not only to export goods, but we need to export talent from our state. We believe that this has been long neglected in our state, the environment. And as a party, we are committed to ensure that springs, ponds, lakes, rivers, and all the water bodies that are available in plenty in our localities, in our towns and villages, should be preserved, and this can be done through collaboration with the local bodies. And we also, because we try to go to the basic as far as possible, and in order to ensure that water problem in our city and other parts of the state is mitigated, we need to harvest rainwater also. We need to stop illegal mining. This illegal mining we need because for two reasons. One is to prevent the revenue leakage and also to protect our environment. We need to strengthen the revenue collection in the state. Without this, the government will, whatever it does in the future, it will have to depend on loans. And therefore, we need to prevent revenue leakage, and we have to ensure that those recommendations taken or given by the CAG from time to time, they need to be properly heeded. And in this way, we feel that we can generate revenue for the state, and we can also not only generate but prevent the wastage of public money that we have seen in the state, that we have been wasting from time to time. For example, making political appointments that eats up the revenue.
I'm going to ask you to wrap up.
Okay, the needs of the economy of the state up to the crores and crores of rupees. And we are organizing all the useless festivals, useless foreign tours, and then post-retirement appointments of those officers that are favored by the government. And also we want to, here, since the time is too limited, we want to ensure that the traffic management in Shillong is done. And this can be done through the development of satellite towns outside Shillong. Because we believe that Shillong problem needs Shillong solution, not the imported solution.
Thank you.
History is gone. The past governments, status quo, one after the other, status quo, status quo. That's why I'm saying that the National People's Party has really taken up this issue, which has created a lot of problem for the people residing in the border areas. Okay, they might have inked an agreement, maybe it is an agreement which, you know, an agreement between two governments, but this agreement which has been inked by the National People's Party-led MDA has been inked with both the state governments and the central government. And I'm repeating this. All the constituencies in the border areas, NPP will win all the seats because the people residing in the border areas really understand that the NPP is the only party which has taken up this issue. The NPP, me myself, representing Ramrai Jarngam constituency, I have 4 areas of differences. 3 areas of differences have been solved: the Tarabari sector, the Gijang sector, and the Hayam sector. Out of all those villages, 98% in fact, we got the extra sector, the Tarabari sector, which was never part of Meghalaya. We are so happy. And yes, there's another sector in West Khas Hills, that is the Langpi sector. The Langpi sector is a very contentious and a very important sector where around 40 villages in the Langpi sector come 27 February will cast their vote in favor of the NPP because the people living on those sectors, they know the problem very well. Not the people living in the urban sectors. The people living in those sectors know the problem and they believe and they are firm that only the National People's Party will take up this issue because they have seen it, they have done it in reality. And yes, after 2nd March, when NPP will form the government, we'll go ahead with the phase 2. Thank you.
With regards to the border dispute, I would beg to differ with my colleague from the NPP because it was the UDP-led government in the year 2000 on the 22nd of December under the leadership of late E.K. Maulong and the then Chief Minister of Assam, Shri Prafulla Kumar Mahanta, who had inked an agreement to return the Khasipnar inhabited villages of Block 1 and Block 2 to Meghalaya. But as history would dictate, the government was toppled and that agreement is gathering dust somewhere in the respective state secretariats.
It's the public who has to decide, but judging from what we see and judging from what we've heard amongst the border areas, it is a give and take policy which has more giving than taking. And I think that's a critical thing, because for a government to just decide on its own, because it's a protected property, it's a protected land, so the land does not belong to the government. Logic would say that at least there should be some participation from the locals, there should be some participation from the various organizations that exist along the borders. So for a CM to just go ahead and try to solve this problem in the way that it has been solved, it is not acceptable, at least to me at large, because you don't solve a border issue in 4 months. We've seen Palestine and Israel having border issues for ages and still not being solved, and we've seen that these border issues are quite sensitive because it deals with the families at large and it deals with the people at large. So there will obviously be a lot of problems, but at least there should be participation from each and every person who got affected. That's my only say on this. I don't know exactly what the details are, but from where we see it, at least I saw it, at least in Pilankata, there are certain places where the give and take has not been very equitable, should I say.
Politician, they could not solve. 2013, the Congress was in power in Meghalaya, the Congress was in power in Assam, the Congress was in power at the center. Why didn't they do it? That's the question to the Congress. Why didn't they do it? They have been ruling Meghalaya for so many years.
I think that's a question for you yourself as well.
So, I am very happy. I am very happy that, I have jumped ship to the National People's Party because representing the border area And yes, I want to repeat this. There have been some stakeholders who have gone to the High Court. The High Court has given an order also on this, that this entire MOU should, the survey should stop. But when the state government appealed to the Supreme Court, the High Court order has been set aside. So the Supreme Court of India, the highest judiciary court in the country, has given that order. That is my submission.
Mr. Manuel Barwar has spoken. Even I might not be privy to the knowledge that our fellow panelist from NPP has, because he's representing the border area. But I did visit the border areas which were affected by the MOU, and the sense that I got from the mood on the ground was that they were not spoken to before the MOU. Why was land that was originally Meghalaya, it is our land, automatically over one night shifted to Assam? Over 36 square kilometers was part of Meghalaya. Out of that, we kept back just around 33, and 3 kilometers were just given away to Assam. But it was already our land. Throughout history, our land has already been given away to Assam throughout history. When we go back to...
Can you name the villages? Kindly, name the villages.
I might not be able to name all the villages. I might not be able to name all
I will name the villages. Mr. Moderator, kindly.
Let him finish.
I might not be able to name all the villages, but throughout history, our land stretched up to Kamakhya, up to Barpeta, it stretched to a very far extent. But throughout history, we have kept on losing this land, and that is why we cannot lose this land anymore. And that is why during previous governments, all this was at status quo, because it affects the families of people. Overnight, they cannot just become residents of another state when they own land in our own 6 scheduled areas.
Problems of the people, especially the tribal people, when they are transferred to Assam, and the Khasis, are they tribal in the plains of Assam? The moment they are transferred to the foreign, I would say to the government, which is not theirs, they are like being displaced culturally. They are being like uprooted from the cultural environment even. And therefore, my only suggestion that when we talk about this transfer of areas, because no matter how, whether you say give and take, but if it affects those people, because we see in media those people who are crying, and we should not forget them also, even if they are minority. One life matters.
Taken away just because somebody signed an MOU without even discussing with me.
The MOU specifies that if land, according to the MOU, if land has gone to the state of Assam, maybe few villages, the ownership of the land still belongs to those people. Please read the MOU kindly.
You're taking off the right of the people.
Wait a minute.
Well, Assam land and Meghalaya land is not the same. This is scheduled land, please.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, what I'd like to say at this juncture is that anything in haste is a waste. And we cannot turn a blind eye to the cries, the sufferings of our border area people, even though I will not be in a position to name the villages as Bajok has very clearly mentioned. I agree with him that in his sector, the Rambrai sector, the West Khasi Hill sector, there was a good resolution. But in the other areas which were given to Assam, those areas are crying out for justice. And that is why we have committed to reviewing the MOU. We had asked the current government to revisit the MOU, but it was turned down, and so we have no other option but to go to the people and seek their mandate so that we can review this MOU.
We would like to review the MOU signed between
government of Assam and government of Nongïalam.
Can I come in?
You can come in. But
Yes. With regards to the UDP, some parties which are fair weather bird parties. So I would like to inform my co-panelists, the regional committee in West Khas Hills. The chairman of the regional committee is the candidate from Maukarwat of the regional committee. The vice chairman was the cabinet minister from the UDP representing Rynsan constituency. But when it comes to these issues, they forget.
Well, the recommendations of the regional committee, please listen carefully. The recommendations of the regional committee was not incorporated in the MOU.